Alright, so this is going to be another movie review. This one's called The Pawnbroker, 1964. This is going to be a psychological terror type movie. It was alright. I couldn't get into it. It's about a Holocaust survivor who's suffering from mental disillness because he treats everybody like crap. He's bitter about the Holocaust losing his family and him being the only survivor. I guess he feels guilty about that. I think my grandmother had a similar thing, but she was on the opposite side during the German War. She said her apartment got blown up. The only thing left was the bathtub. I think that made her bitter also. But so I could sort of relate to this guy a little bit. His acting is a little bit over the top and quite animated at times. It's got some recognizable faces in it. I think I mentioned a couple of actors in the description box. And the score is by Quincy Jones. I didn't really care for the Quincy Jones soundtrack. It sounded like Miles Davis, kind of weird acid jazz type stuff. So the story takes place in Harlem. The aforementioned Jewish pawnbroker is rather tight-fisted. I mean, he won't give any more than $2 for certain items, and he doesn't want to talk to the customers. There were things that I didn't really understand in this movie, like in the beginning and towards the end when he has flashbacks about his young adult life with wife and kids and big family, parents and whatnot, before the Nazis come to take him away to the concentration camp. Couldn't really follow what was going on there. I guess they're out in the field, like enjoying life before the Nazis come. But I really couldn't figure out who was who in the beginning. I guess he's married, and later on the Nazis rape his wife. There's a real brief nudity in this one. The black gal is the reason to watch, the black prostitute. Anyways, so he survives the Holocaust. He becomes a pawnbroker in Harlem. He's got his little sidekick, Hispanic young guy, helping him out at the pawnbroker shop on the corner there in Harlem. The worst part of town, it seems like, and shot in black and white, so it helps to add to the depressing mood of the movie. So the pawnbroker keeps having flashbacks about his traumatic Holocaust experience. And another thing I didn't understand is, why is he have this girlfriend whose father or husband is dying? I couldn't tell which. But then he doesn't want the black prostitute or the other older white woman who's trying to hit on him. I didn't understand that part. And then there's a mob character played by Brock, I think is his name. I've seen him in a bunch of movies. Anyways, he's the familiar face along with the dude in the biker movie. I forget his name. Anyways, so I couldn't figure out what his deal is. He's always asking, demanding that the dude sign papers, and he calls him professor. I couldn't really figure it out what his deal was. And I guess the pawnbroker dude is offended that he's getting money from this Harlem dude, Brock, who's got some kind of prostitution business going. And then the mob comes in and says, your money or your life kind of deal towards the end. I don't want to spoil too much of the ending, but it had a pretty cool plot twist. I just wish the rest of the movie would have caught on to me. I just couldn't really get into it. It tries to be like an art house flick, I guess, because it's got the jump cuts and the shaky camera, which was kind of annoying, quite honestly. And so it tries to be artsy, but I think it fails for the most part. It was kind of depressing, and I like the genre of psychological terror, this kind of genre. But if you want to see a better movie around this time, I'd say check out Seconds with Rock Hudson. That's my favorite movie of all time, I think. Yeah, definitely. So I think that's a much better movie compared to this movie. And I believe it came out around the same time, maybe a year later. One of the last black and white movies from that time period. And I don't know. I just can't bring myself to enjoy this movie thoroughly. I can't recommend it. I can't say check it out or post anything in the description box other than the actors' names and the music direction. But I guess it was Quincy Jones' first musical score in a movie, so that was kind of interesting. And he's done a lot of movies, especially during the mid-'60s. So there's that, and that's the end of my review. I really don't have anything to say other than I got a hot date with a 28-year-old on Happen. I'm hoping she's for real, and things progress from here. She seems like a nice gal, but you never know with online dating these days, so we'll see how it goes. I'm keeping my fingers crossed, though. Laters.